Welcome to Vegapunk Labs, everyone. This is a One Piece show. It is. We don't talk about any other anime on this show. Just this one. Wait. This is not an anime show. It's a one, right?
Well, it has an anime. I guess we could we could call it a story.
This is a story show about story, okay? This is what we're here for. We do a new podcast.
Story.
Exactly. Exactly. We do a podcast every single freaking week, man. Unless we don't, because I was too busy. Sorry, that's my fault. But we're gonna try from now on to do these podcasts. We're gonna make the effort, which is mostly just me making the effort, because Carp here is a slave driver, and he slave drives me into oblivion. What do you think? What do you think about that, Carp?
I think you slave drive yourself into oblivion.
I reject your reality and substitute my own. On this episode of Mythbusters, we're going to try to actually put forward a concerted effort to not put these out on Sunday anymore, but to put them out as soon as we possibly can. And that's just because we want to be just a little bit more competitive and get a little bit more viewership, a little bit more subscribers, a little bit more interaction. And we're probably also going to, in general, be making some changes throughout the new year to just work on our stuff and you know, try to make the show better and better each week. And I think, honestly, all of Oda's breaks and delays have sort of messed up our mojo, our flow. But I feel like we can get through it.
Yeah. And he deserves those breaks.
Yeah. It's true. So this week we're going to be talking about 1134 and 1135. And a reminder, if you guys haven't already, we literally just hit 100 subscribers, Carp. What do you have to say to the viewers?
We need more. Always more.
Right. And what is our goal for subscribers this week? Because we're at 104 right now.
Yeah, what do you think about 108?
I thought you were going to say like 1 million.
Do you want 1 million? I could say 1 million.
I do want 1 million. I don't think we can get there, but I do want 1 million. I say 108 is pretty good, though. So that's just 4 more subscribers. So if you are new to the podcast, you haven't already clicked off because we're brand new and all that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and drop a like if you haven't already. As well, we have all of the links for all the participants in today's show in the description. Carp, we got some interesting news. This is actually one of our new segments we want to add to the show, just because, you know, why not? See how it goes. So, yeah. Carp, what's first up on the news?
Well, it's a new year, and that means a new year for Oda because he was born the 1st of January. Now he's 50 years old. So if I'm not wrong, he started at 22 writing this story.
Dang.
I might be wrong.
Still, that's pretty young. So that means he's a horse, right? In particular, a thoroughbred. Yeah, because every year, since there's no standard... well, okay. So he may not be celebrating his birthday on January the 1st because he's a thoroughbred. Because thoroughbreds are... doesn't matter when they're born. There's no standardized kind of like taking of like the birthdays and stuff. So they just... all of the thoroughbreds born in the Northern Hemisphere on January 1st celebrate their birthday, no matter when they were born.
Japan is in the Northern Hemisphere? I actually don't know. I
have no idea. I have no idea. So he may not be. He may not be a thoroughbred, but this would explain something.
Well, and it's also Ace's birthday, the 1st of January.
Yep. The most delicious of donuts.
Yes.
No, that's
one of the many anime donuts. There are so many.
That lady in Frieren, would be very happy to eat Ace. The one that hangs out with the old man. What was her name?
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember her name. I remember he treats her like she's his granddaughter, but she's a complete stranger.
yeah, it's so funny. And speaking of Frieren, actually, this is kind of later in our list, but it's a good segue. The One Piece fan letter is actually now the second highest rated anime, and it's the highest rated special episode. Guess what number 1 is?
Frieren. Of course, we're talking about 2024.
Yeah, 2024. So that's kind of crazy, the fact that it's amongst the highest rated anime of the year, and it's just like a 24-minute special.
Well, it's just that good. I loved it.
Yeah, it's I think we watched it like a couple times, and I mean, I have we even released our podcast on it yet?
I think we haven't. We have it somewhere. I think you have
let me check the channel.
audio.
Oh my God, we do. It's just not public yet. All right, so if I can remember, you will see that very soon. What else do we got on the list, though?
Well, Manga Plus did an oopsie and released 1135 early. And that had ramifications because that meant that there won't be any chapter this week or the next because they released the 1135 early.
That's sort of bittersweet in a way. It's like, yeah, we got it early, but now we gotta wait longer. So it is what it is, but I mean that's fair.
Very funny though. It's a big company. To make a big mistake, someone had trouble at work. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. Thankfully, they're not having as many issues as Crunchyroll is having, because that would suck. But let's go ahead. We're gonna do today 1134 and 1135 because we haven't covered these chapters, and we need to cover them both.
Yep.
So we decided literally 20 minutes before the show to do them both in one episode. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and just jump right into 1134 since that is the one before 1135, so it makes sense to do it that way. Carp, what were your overall thoughts on this chapter?
Well, it was very heartwarming, like the interactions between Robin and Jaguar D Soul, because they really we've been waiting for this reunion since it was announced that Soul was alive 2 years ago. So I felt like it was rewarding. I really like this reunion. What do you think? Do you think it may have been better?
I know there was so much drama around this because he's actually alive, but like it's not very surprising to me because Oda's always done it. But I think as for the actual reunion itself, I'm not quite sure what I was expecting going into it, but once we got there, it was simple. It was short and sweet and to the point. And that's fine. It's fine with me.
Yep.
It's good. And we got what we had. We got what we got. And it's pretty cool. I think it was really cool just in general how it showed how important Nico Robin was to everyone.
Well, every part of the crew, every crew member is important to the rest. It's a family.
Yeah. And I love like there was this one scene it showed where they're all crying in unison for Robin. And I just thought that was so cute and so wholesome, and it was so nice. I think this chapter just reminded everyone just how important Robin is to the entire crew. It's pretty nice.
Yep. And also Vegapunk makes an appearance here. And I don't know what you think about this. Apparently, she has a clone of the official Vegapunk of the original.
Yeah. When I heard about this, I immediately went, "Oh no, they're not gonna like this, aren't they?" But I didn't go and read anything on this yet, like the community reaction or whatever. But what are their reaction? Do they hate this? Because I could see the One Piece or just in general most readers kind of like wincing at this, because it was at the end of last arc, Vegapunk was just killed off, and in a pretty convincing way. So, and just to randomly have like the clone of Vegapunk, I can see some people would probably not like that. Me personally, though, it was a little weird. It's like, oh, okay, so Vegapunk's just alive again. We got a clone of Vegapunk. Cool. But
well, as I've heard in a couple of content creators, generally people are like, well, this is Vegapunk, the smartest man on Earth, obviously, and he had been making clones of Kuma. Obviously, he has a clone of himself.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a little bit cheap. Like, now, well, it's been a while since we couldn't trust any death in One Piece.
Right.
But that death was so good. It was so well done.
Do you think it's not going to be like 1-to-1 Vegapunk, or do you think it's going to be like a younger version or whatever? Like a different visual look to him?
They say that this was the Vegapunk that visited Saul 20 years ago, so it might be a 20 years younger version of Vegapunk.
Yeah, that would be really interesting, just from a visual perspective. So it's not as, if that is a worry of Oda, make him look different visually, and yeah, he's a clone, but maybe like make them distinct between one another. I think that would totally be fine for some people that are annoyed by it.
Have some different parts to his personality, so to make him younger also mentally.
Yeah, because
so it's a different character basically.
Yeah, right. And I think a good way to do that is because we know how Vegapunk always questioned his morality. Maybe play into that a little bit with the Vegapunk clone. Maybe be like he's a little bit younger, so he's not as, vigilant of that or thinking as much about that. Maybe he's a little bit more of a loose cannon. Or maybe he's like, oh, I'm a creation of science. And because we know now that since he separated all of his personalities and stuff, maybe that, I don't know, takes some sort of toll on him or something like that. I don't know.
Vegapunk is a very special and particular character because you can't pinpoint if he's a bad man, a good man, or just a greedy guy. I don't know. He's very complex.
He is.
Because he has done horrible things.
Yeah.
But also very good things.
Yeah, it's that's why his character is so great, I think. It's just the morality of scientific pursuit and what is in the wake of that.
And here is something else that I have a little bit of an issue with. Vegapunk says that Lilith in particular, said that she will make Kuma basically revive him, because the Flamingo said, like, in Marineford that Kuma was already dead.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's basically going to be revived. It's weird.
Yeah, it is a little weird. I'm not, because I think what makes it weird is the fact that it's really just another version of Vegapunk being revived or Pell coming back. It's just another version of that. And it almost feels like remember back in Skypiea when all those people died, but they
yeah,
did.
were electrocuted, but they weren't really killed.
Yeah.
Or even that guy in Skypiea that used the reject dial. Do you remember that they said that if you use it once, it will destroy your body, and the guy used it like 4 times?
Oh God. Yeah. This is one of those moments, I think. I don't know, like, it doesn't bother me personally too much. Just because, you know, I like all these characters, but it is a little it's
Cheap.
it's a little like going back to the same bag of tricks. And there's a bit of frustration in that.
Well, Grand Line Review made a really good video that I don't know if you watched, about the fake out deaths in One Piece and what differentiates some from the others. And I think Oda has gotten better at making like these deaths seem a little less how to say it, a little less badly written.
He knows how to mask it a bit better, I would say.
Yeah. Basically, if I remember correctly, what Grand Line Review was saying was, if you take something from the story, from the reader, you have to give something in return to make a balance. And in the case of Saul, for example, I think he made a good choice. That's not I will call it a fake out. That really bothers me, because he built up the reunion. The reunion was well done, and it wasn't a fake. Well, yes, it was a fake out death, but it kind of makes sense that he was alive, even when that chapter released in 2006, 7, around there.
Yeah.
People were already saying that he was alive.
How much of this do you think is internet being internet, and it actually being an issue?
I think, well, I always been very critical with everything. I think this is one of the weakest points in Oda's writing, and that's he. It's not that he doesn't kill his characters; it's that he makes us believe that he's killing them, but he doesn't kill them. So he tricks the reader or the viewer in case of the anime, and that's what bothers me. If he didn't do so many good death scenes, I wouldn't be as mad. And to be fair, I think, going back to Grand Line Reviews, he made a poll about people who were angry about Saul being dead and people that were happy about that, or those who were bothered and those who didn't. And 20% of people were the ones that were angry. And that just is the internet.
Yeah. The internet is the 20%.
A very loud minority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I hear that, I'm very, like, at any point when there is any sort of drama now, it's just happened so much. I've been on the internet for so long that my first thought isn't, oh my God, what did they do? It's, is this real? Like, is this like an actual thing, like an actual drama, or like that is like important, or is this just distraction? Which is it?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the clarity on that. I think that you just gotta strike a balance. I think Oda, if he did it that one time in Skypiea, it would have been okay. But the fact he continues to do it, I think for me, I lay on the side of just it's repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's not repetitive in a satisfying way. It's repetitive it kind of takes you out of it. Like
yeah. Now do you believe if any character is shot in the head that he is dead?
See, no, I don't. It's like JoJo. I don't. I've been shown too many times where a character clearly is dead and he's not, and I just don't believe it anymore. And that does take away from the impact of many things. That's why I think the flashbacks in One Piece are so great, is because that's the one thing you can count on, usually, is the people in the flashbacks typically do die and stay dead. Typically.
Yep.
Doesn't happen all the time. But
Like with Saul.
But it's a better track record, and you can believe it more. Because it feels like these, it's happened in the past and we haven't seen these characters since. Whereas, like, God, I can't even think of a Pell. Pell is just so bad. So bad. Like, the character would have been okay if the character actually died. And I just don't understand. I think you told me once that he does it because he doesn't want to make people sad that are fans of these characters. But I think my argument would be, look at Attack on Titan. Characters are elevated because they die.
Yeah. And like I said before, if you kill a character, or in this case, if you bring back a character, you're taking away from the impact of that character's death.
Yeah.
If you do that, you have to give something in equal measure to balance stuff.
Right.
Like with Saul. So, in the case of Pell, he wasn't dead, and that was it. He then appeared a couple of times, and he didn't do anything. He had a great death scene, and he didn't add anything to the story afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's a problem.
Yeah. I say, like, a good example of the way that I view this is look at music, look at bands from, we'll say the 90s. So let's say like Nirvana. Nirvana is a band that didn't get to last for more than 5 or 6 years or however long it was. And because Kurt Cobain died tragically. And people see Nirvana now as like this great thing, and people see Kurt Cobain as like this lionized figure. Whereas I guarantee you, if Kurt Cobain survived, he would have been canceled 5 times over by now.
Yeah.
There's a certain comfort that comes with, or there's a certain kind of, I don't know, absence makes the heart grow fonder, I think, is what I'm trying to say. And when you have that time away, you learn to appreciate what you had with this character, or with these bands, or with these, actors, or whoever it may be that either pass away, break up, or just disappear. It's nostalgia, right? It's fondness because of the good times. And I feel like you kind of take that away a little bit when you press the Deus Ex Machina button a billion times.
Yeah. I hope he gets better with this. And we'll see what happens with Vegapunk. We'll see how he uses that character going forward. Because if he brings back Vegapunk and Kuma and Saul and does nothing with their characters, then it was a very badly done.
That's also a good point too.
Part of the story.
On the flip side of that, I think all of this goes away if the characters are elevated because of their returns.
Yeah.
See, that's what this all hinges on. Can he do that? I think so. Of course.
He's a really good writer. I have faith in him.
Yeah, right. And not only that, these are good characters. These characters are just not going to start being bad characters, As we've seen, as you've just said, he is a good writer. He is consistent, if anything. So,
yeah.
I think.
And talking about characters, you know, the Straw Hats now go to the school,
Yeah.
and there's a character that I know that you love that appears here, a teacher, the biology teacher in the Walrus School.
Yes, Ripley.
What are your thoughts about Ripley?
I think I have more thoughts on her in 1135, so I'm going to save a lot of that for that discussion. But
Yeah.
my first impressions of Ripley were that, oh God, it's another Oda character that's Nami-faced. Except this time, she's I don't know, she kind of looks like a Skyrim character. Like, in a good way? Like, okay, listen. I kind of like her character design, okay? Like a lot. This was before finding out the things we found out about her in the next chapter. But I don't know. I think the character's really cool. I think what I like about it is the Viking aesthetic. I think she just looks really cool. And I also
The
think
Viking aesthetic. Continue.
well, I think the cape too. Cape's always
the
made it
cape.
cool. The pelt or whatever.
Well, what I was going to say that everything in Elbaf so far, the Viking aesthetic is so good. Like it blends into One Piece perfectly.
Yeah, it does, which is kind of crazy, but actually not that crazy. Just because we're pirates,
thinking that
so makes sense.
We were before in a futuristic island, and now to the Viking island, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It almost feels like a video game, traveling between different worlds.
Yeah, like Mario.
Yeah, it's exactly what it feels
the Super
like.
Mario Bros.
But yeah, Ripley's. I think it's interesting that she's like this teacher, and she because of that she knows a lot of stuff, obviously about their culture and stuff, and she talks about how there was this peaceful shift in giant culture, and even mentions that Luffy's transformation reminds her of the legendary warriors from Elbaf's past, which is really interesting in my opinion, because there's a lot of symbolism with Luffy being, the one who's going to be the king of the pirates and all that, and what that means with her saying that. What do you think about that? What do you think about Ripley as well? I want to ask you, sir. Put me on the pedestal to answer these questions. Put you on there.
I think she's a very funny character because of you could say the juxtaposition of what she says and what she does. She says that she wants a new Elbaf, like a peaceful Elbaf, but at the same time, was it in this chapter?
I think it was the next chapter.
I think it was. No, it was next chapter. So we'll talk about that in next chapter. But my first thoughts were, oh no, here is another character that the fans will will simp over.
Okay, so
but
who do you think's better, Ripley or Gerd?
I think Ripley.
Okay.
I don't know. Gerd is a little bit like too childish, I guess.
All right. I see. Okay. These things make sense. What do you think about the Yao library, though? What do you think about that? The fact that they also salvage all those books too, which, if you think about it, is that also another instance of Oda killing off a character and then bringing it back? Because in that flashback, we were led to believe that the whole library burned down, correct?
In the beginning, but then they showed us that the old archaeologists threw the books into a lake, and then the giants salvaged the books, and so we knew all that. We knew that the giants had all the books.
All right. Okay.
So I don't know how the book survived being in the bottom of the lake, but we'll just don't think about that.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, you probably could salvage books that are water damaged, but I guess it just depends on when. Maybe they arrive there like the next day or hours after. Who knows?
Well, and I think the most interesting part of this chapter is the ending.
Ah.
And
yes. I know where you're going. Go on.
Is Loki actually a bad guy?
I think when Loki was introduced, did I mention something about this?
I think I mentioned that he was introduced too early to be the big bad of the arc.
Ah, okay, so that's what it was. All right. Yeah, I think if he doesn't turn out to be the bad guy, then I think I'm cool with that.
Yeah. But that means, well, this is, I think, obvious at this point because Oda uses this trope so many times of the very fun place that everything seems that is okay, but under the shadows there's something very dark and evil.
Right.
We can see that in Dressrosa. We can see that in Whole Cake Island. We can see that in Wano. He's done it many, many times.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
probably
thinking
50-50.
I'm thinking that he is not a bad guy and that he will help us at some point.
He may be more of like a not a bad guy, but also not a good guy either as well. He could be just kind of chaotic neutral.
Like Kid, rest in peace.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true, yeah. Ripperoni, killed by Shanks. Speaking of Shanks, 2 hooded figures appear at the end of this chapter. And one of them is a lady who, honestly, I've been trying to figure out what this lady reminds me of. And I was reading the most recent chapter because she was kind of in it for a second. And I think I figured it out. She kind of looks like Lilith.
Yep, I think so too.
Which that would be interesting.
And again, I don't remember if it was this chapter that we see this Shanks, like he might not be Shanks.
Well, I think it was 1134. Because this was the one that kind of showed his face a little bit, and there were some details missing.
The scars.
Now, I will say, now that we know Vegapunk has a clone, that means there is cloning technology out there. Have we been dealing with clones in some form for a while and we just didn't know it?
Yeah. Well, since Whole Cake Island, do you remember that Germa 66 had an army of clones?
I totally forgot about that. There's also all the Kuma clones, I guess, as well, you could say. They're not really clones, but...
Yep. And the Vegapunk clone now.
And the Vegapunk clone. Yeah, I wonder if secretly all of this time, maybe the Shanks that we've been interacting with was a clone. Or the real version.
The original... Well, there's a theory, a very old theory, that Shanks has an evil brother, twin brother.
See? Maybe that could be the basis of that.
Because, do you remember in the Reverie, Shanks appears to talk with the 5 elders, and he tells them, "I'm here to talk about a certain pirate," and that's it. And in a very obvious way, we didn't. The side of the face we see of Shanks there is the side of the face that didn't have the scar, and we don't see if he has both arms. So people started thinking that wasn't Shanks.
That very well could be it. That could potentially lead somewhere.
Yep.
I don't know if I buy it, but it sounds really interesting, and I want it to be real. Because that would be so cool.
Yeah. A very used trope, but used in a very unique way.
Yeah. And, like, just imagine if it's just revealed at some point in One Piece, oh, everyone is cloned. Everyone. There's going to be a clone army, and we're going to have to fight the clone army. It's like in Freerun, when they have to fight the clay clones.
Well, let me think.
And we also know the Seraphim.
I guess, yeah, the Seraphim and Stussy.
Stussy, yes. Interesting name. Interesting character.
But, yeah, I know you like that character, and I can imagine why.
I have no feelings towards Stussy. You do. You're the Stussy fan.
I think she's more Burb's kind of character.
Yeah, that's true. Burb would really dig Stussy. Oh, he does. He already says he does. Never mind. Sorry, I forgot. He's a simp. Called you out, Burb. Got him. So you want to move on to 1135?
First, let's say how did you think in general about this chapter?
I think in terms of just the two that I've read, of these two, you know, I think this one is probably slightly weaker than 1135, but honestly, I think a lot of the things that a lot of the talking points about this chapter that I've heard about, they don't bother me as much, but then again, I'm more of a half glass full kind of person anyways. So, like, I'm not, like, if I enjoy something, generally I'm going to enjoy it no matter what, unless I feel, like, mega offended. If it's consistent, like, I'm all for it. As long as you're consistent, I will not complain. And I feel like most of what I saw in 1134 is consistent with the past. So, otherwise, in terms of the advancements of the story, now that we talked about it a little bit, I mean, the clone thing's pretty crazy. I think the obviously the Shanks person and the Lilith person, that's crazy. I have no idea where that is going, and I'm really excited. I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most in this arc so far.
And Loki with his mysterious friend that we have no idea who it is.
Mosa, right? Mosa?
We had a name? I think we didn't have a name.
Or no, I'm confusing that with Oh no, yeah, I think it's Mosa. Or Masa?
Well, I don't see a name, but
I don't know why I wrote Masa in the notes then. I don't know, maybe I had like a bad translation or something. Or I misconstrued something. If you know, put in the comments.
We have yeah. Clarify everything for us.
Yeah, I'm dumb. All right, let's go and get to 1135. Yeah. The first thing I want to say about this chapter is I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I think I call dibs on Ripley and Gerd. Yes, new development.
Isn't Ripley married though?
To me, yeah. What do you
But
think?
yeah, I think that Ripley might be too much for you.
Oh, not enough. That's why I got Gerd and Ripley. It'll be great. What did you think about Bonnie and Chopper reading the gigantic book?
Very cute. Bonnie has few lines and few panels, but whenever she appears, she's like a new Chopper. Like, oh, this is so cute.
Yeah, that's sort of the way I feel about it too. She's put in like not the mascot territory, but the cute character territory. And so she fits right
Yeah.
with Chopper really well.
Do you think that Chopper is mascot or cute?
I think he's a cute mascot. And I think there's a distinction between that. Being cute and then being a cute mascot.
But yeah, while part of the crew is enjoying the library, Luffy is terrorizing the kids.
Yes. Terrorizing indeed. In fact, they're fighting at full force. like Luffy is like going like gear third and it just destroying the place. And they're like, yo, Luffy, you can't do this. This is too much, man. You're going to kill everyone on this island. I thought that was funny. I think that's just funny in general when you have that trope of like two very powerful beings playing and they're just like destroying everything around them. It's really funny. But we do learn that Ripley is the mother of Colon.
Yep.
She gave birth to a colon.
I've been wondering if in the Spanish translation it will be Colón. That will be Christopher Columbus' last name in Spanish.
I reject your reality and substitute my colon. Or my own colon. That was a horrible joke. That came out completely wrong.
Oh, yeah. No. But yeah, I find it very interesting, Colon in particular. I know you're more interested in Ripley.
What do you mean?
But Colon being like the black sheep in the how do you say it? The black sheep of the group?
Kind of like the runt of the group, so to speak.
But in a very weird way. Generally, the trope is in a very peaceful town, there is one very angry and very violent character. That's the shonen classic.
Yeah, the angsty kid.
But now it's the other way around. It's a very no, what was it? Oh, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, this is a trope, and I really like it.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting how they say like, oh, he's been raised on only happiness and stuff, and only knows happiness, but then turns around and fights Luffy the way he does, and his mother is even like, hey, I'm not encouraging violence, but good job for standing up for yourself.
That's what I was talking about the last chapter, that Ripley, I like her personality, like, yeah, peace, but good job hitting that other guy.
Yeah, good job. No violence, but good job on that violence thing. That's some good violence. It's I think what is so good about that is it's hopeful, or no, it's like a hopeful outlook on the world of like we should not encourage violence, but sometimes violence is required to protect yourself and maybe to protect others. And it's not maybe totally right, especially for a culture like theirs, to raise a kid to be, hating of violence and whatever, when the world is so chaotic. Like, you have to be able to protect yourself and stand up for yourself.
Do you think that the evil thing that's happening in this island is that there's someone manipulating everything, so the giants turn peaceful, and that will make them weaker, so less of a threat to the world government?
That is interesting. I could very well see that happening, because governments, they love to manipulate, as we see in our world every day. And it wouldn't at all surprise me if maybe the world government sent some person in there to just instill this ideology in Elbaf that, hey, maybe violence isn't the answer. Maybe you should all become just total doughy pushovers.
Yep. And that will play into the hands of the world government.
Right. I could very well see that. Now, that being said, it doesn't seem like Ripley, yes and no. It seems like she's teaching their kids more of a balanced viewpoint, I think, which is a little different from, I think, what we're suggesting. So I'm not sure how far, if that is true, would penetrate or has penetrated into the culture. But there was a word where they say, Ripley, good job on you for teaching them the old ways. So maybe it's already happened.
Yeah, maybe. And I find very funny that the one that asks Ripley about who is Colon's dad, and that he's a human, the one who asks is Sanji, obviously.
Yeah, that's I'm her human husband. So that's me.
There's a very big theory that is Coppergaban is actually the father. I know that you don't know this character because he's a very obscure character. He's one of the members of Roger's crew.
Well, we do know as well, because we were introduced to Bibalot, the owl that has the rear fruit. That's apparently just lived for hundreds of years and can change small things to gigantic things, which is like really good for their culture because, they're giants and they need things. So this owl literally just changes things into bigger things. However, it can't turn a big thing into a small thing. It can only turn small things into big things, which is interesting. So I think probably what happened here is that Bibalot was like, hey, I'm going to turn this human into a big human so they can bow chicka wow wow. And I think that's how that works.
I don't know if that could work, but maybe, yeah. That would mean that the owl was watching while everything happened.
Well, I mean, they would turn him into a giant and he would walk off. What I'm saying is maybe maybe there are certain people who know about this, maybe humans that are accepted into Elbaf, because as we see in this chapter, Lilith is going to work on becoming a resident at Elbaf. Maybe it's just normal to go to this owl and ask for it to make you gigantic. Maybe even all the people we've seen thus far, maybe not all of them are giants by birth.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would.
And what do you think about the new Straw Hats outfits? Because there were some that didn't have the Viking outfits. Now everyone has one.
They're pretty cool. I like Brooke. I like Brooks.
I really like Frankie's that he has. Like, his arms are barrels.
He's like a Nintendo character. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like all of them actually. I honestly think this is one of those, because like I didn't like all the outfits in Egghead in particular. I didn't like the Nami or Robin's, but I just like, I don't know, I just like the Viking aesthetic. I just think it looks so cool.
Yep. And now we go to what people are thinking they are the Holy Knights. That's the Shanks clone, if it is, or brother, or whatever.
Yeah.
The other woman. And we also think she's a woman because of her face, but it could be a man.
Could be a man. could be an alien lizard of some point, or of some kind.
Well, he, whatever, is torturing some guards.
Yeah, so this is clearly a devil fruit power, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
What did she do to him? I couldn't tell.
I think that's the idea, that we can't tell.
Maybe it's like, I don't know, psychokinesis or something. Psyduck.
Oh,
It's the Psyduck fruit.
oh no, Psyduck, the Pokemon
Yeah.
that
Whack.
always has a headache.
Yeah. Needs an aspirin all the time.
But yeah, we have another party then.
Yep.
So many parties. How many parties there have been in this arc?
Endless, honestly. It feels like we're still in one while we're getting into another. Like
Yeah.
one page is a party, the next page is another party. It's like what's going on here? Are they going to show up at P. Diddy's place?
And we meet some old friends. In this case, Tassen, the giant that Luffy helped in Sabaody Archipelago.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
No.
Basically, when Luffy rescued Kami from the slave store or whatever, the slave thing.
It's probably why I don't remember it, because it involves Kami. Poor Kami.
He saved a lot of other people together with her, and one of them was a giant, and that's this giant,
Ja Rule?
Stassen.
Well, there's another one named Ja Rule. Hero of the Giants. Ja Rule.
I don't remember if he was the same character that appeared in Big Mom's flashback.
Well, maybe. We do know that he has sustained some brain damage of some kind, though it's really not clear what.
What do you mean? His helmet saved him.
Yeah, but it's, it went straight, went straight through. He's got a sword in his
because
noggin.
he has a helmet. The helmet saved him.
Well, I mean, the sword went straight through, though. Listen, Carp,
But
we
he
got
has
some.
a helmet.
Listen, good news, Carp. We got some bad news, okay?
Oh no.
And the bad news is that we got good news. The good news is we got bad news.
Well, I really like this chapter
Yeah, this is a fun chapter.
because it feels like the calm before the storm.
I just love all the little small moments, honestly. I think those were my favorite parts.
The character interactions are great always.
Yeah, I like how Gerd made clothing for all the straw. Well, made the clothing for all of them, but I love how she was like her one of her just hobbies is making human clothes. And as I say here in my notes, Carp, she's basically perfect. This is my wife now.
And not Ripley.
No, they're both my
I
wife.
thought Ripley was your wife.
No, don't worry. I got room. And you would think, no,
Do
we
you?
definitely wouldn't have
Do
room.
you?
Trust me, we got room. Don't worry. Size does not matter in this house. Whoa. Maybe I should work on phrasing there. Well, I guess it would have to not matter. Listen, we'll get Bibelot in there. It'll be fine. But yeah, I like this chapter a lot. It seems like Bonnie. You're my friend. Bonnie and Lilith. Seems like they're going to depart.
I never knew Barney had such a tragic backstory.
Kuma, you are my friend. You love me. I love you. We're a happy family. I don't know how that song goes. But yeah, they're. It seems that you were right, Carp. They're going to leave. They're going to stay in Elbaf.
Yep.
I'm sad.
Yep. I don't think we'll have another Straw Hat. I think we're already in the final stretch.
I think if
in
we
the final long stretch.
I think if we do, it's going to be Yamato.
If we do, it will be someone we've already met before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fake Shanks. The charred corpse of Kid.
Oh no.
You remember in the Bomb Girl arc in Chainsaw Man, when Rize blows up Chainsaw Man and like it's just like a torso and what's left of his head. It's gonna be like that. Put me in, Luffy. I can do it. Put me in.
That happens way too much in Chainsaw Man. There's always a torso and a head somewhere.
Yeah. Someone's always blown to bits. Anyways, this show is not about other shows. This show's about one show. Story. Sorry. One Piece. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see where 1136 is. That should be in a couple weeks from now.
Yep.
And I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm fuming.
What do you think we could do during those weeks?
Well, we could upload the fan letter thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we could do the tier list thing.
Ah, well, that solves stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to get to work on those. Excuse me, put those out.
Yep. But yeah, that was 1134 and 1135. What did you guys think about these new chapters?
And
well, I say new.
We'd love to hear your opinions on it because we're a new channel. We only got 100 subs. We just hit 100 subs. And honestly, we just want to have some discussion. That's why we started this channel, is to discuss One Piece. And I understand as well, our videos are newer and we're trying to like learn like our chemistry with one another. And I know that we're getting better week to week. I can feel it. But let us know in the comments what you think about the show. What's working, what's not working for you, and we'll try to help out with that. So thanks everyone for coming out. We appreciate it. We'll see you all in the next podcast.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.